I think I was on mute. Oh, I think I was on mute on YouTube. Oh, 1 2 1 2 1 2. I was just talking on mute on YouTube. My bad, my bad. So again, welcome to everybody who's joining us. Yeah, I was on mute. Imagine like that, like moving like some old man. You just switch. There we go. So what we're talking about is how to ask for money when you're running your business, when you've got things out there, you've got clients that you're chasing, clients that you're trying to reach out to. There is a point where in your process you have done all the things you need to do, but you get stuck, right? I'm gonna quickly share my screen, go to my lovely puzzle diagram, and I'm gonna explain to you guys what I am referring to. So, um, go to my delivery. So the way funnels generally work, right? And the way anybody who works with me knows how I do my funnels is you have 4 stages. Now, I talk about this every single time because I think it's important to remind everybody when you're trying to sell anything, when you're trying to do anything in your business, you have to be aware of these 4 major stages. I always bring them up because they're so important. So, first of all, we have attract. That's lead generation. Now, that's where you're doing what you need to do to get new customers coming in. You're promoting yourself, you're running ads, all those kind of things. That's what you do first, right? You do attract. The second thing you do is engage, right? So you usually give them a lead magnet. Now, if you are providing a service that you're provided to, it's high ticket. So it's thousands of pounds, £5,000, £50,000, whatever the case may be. You are now dealing with an audience of people who are not just going to buy because you run an ad, right? You don't really see people running ads to cars. Oh, come and buy this car. It costs you X amount, right? Usually, when someone's selling a car, they would say, come for a test drive, come to the dealership. So they would find a way to, seduce you to the dealership, for lack of a better word, right? That's part of what marketing is about, getting you to come to the dealership so that you can see the car that they're offering to you. Once you're at the dealership, um, then they're going to have to nurture, right? So when we talk about asking for money, we're talking about this last stage of the process, which is the convert stage. So you've attracted the right people, you've engaged with them, you've nurtured them. Now they're in a position whereby you now want to convert them. You want to get that person who you brought into your funnel to be able to pay, right? They have done the work of, they're interested in what you're doing, they like what you're selling, yada, yada, yada. Now you want to get them to pay for what you're doing. This is what we call convert. This is why we're talking about how to ask for money. How do you actually convert somebody who showed an interest? Now, here's a mistake a lot of us make, right? When we get to the point where someone said, oh, this is a great idea, you've had a call with them. This is a great idea. I love this, yada, yada, whatever the case may be, whatever you said to them. We usually get to the point where now we want them to actually talk about um, getting that person to pay for something. I've seen it so many times. A lot of people, they get to the stage of the person says, okay, I'm interested, right? The person's excited, and they often let things fall off. Yeah. Um, People need to understand that often this is where clients lose interest. Between the point of nurture, yes, I'm interested, to converting, many clients would lose interest, right? The whole point of what I'm talking about today is I'm talking about the importance of things like invoices, proposals, your subscription stuff. These things are very, very key. When I talk to people about building their business, this is why I talk about systems. In terms of your system, these things are very, very key to have. Yeah. We have platforms like Coldblue, which we utilize with our clients to help them maximize that process. Imagine doing the work of getting someone to show interest in what you're doing, getting to get them to engage in it. They're really interested. And when it gets to the last minute, it falls flat because you were not able to get them to pay. I was going to call Precious in, one of our team members who handling the proposals, to check for me. But I'm going to tell you, as we're trying to grow our business, I'm getting less involved in the sales process. We're trying to systemize. But because of that, our conversions are going down because closing is a skill that we need to make sure that the whole team understands. So I'm going to give you an example. Like, if I'm completely honest, let's be transparent about this. Um, Let me go to my opportunities tab, and I'm going to tell you how many proposals we currently have that are maybe over a week or two old that we haven't closed. So people who said, yeah, I'm interested, yeah, let's go. But because of one thing or the other, So these are the older ones. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people who we sent proposals to. These proposals are, this is well over 10 grand worth of revenue. That's just sitting there. Well over 10 grand worth of revenue, just by counting it. Then if I go to another pipeline that we have, let me quickly look. Is it this one? No, that's not that one. If I go to another pipeline, which one is it? Oh, there it is. Sorry. They all got similar names, so I almost couldn't see it. If I go to another pipeline, um, we're talking about another, again. So you're talking about 20 plus thousand worth of £20,000 worth of money sitting in the ether because we didn't close. And this is like in the last 2, 3 weeks, right? And this is what is so important. This process is something that we're having to refine in the business because, like I just said, we're literally losing money. We're literally not capitalizing on the fact that people have shown an interest, you know, and this stuff is very, very important to be aware of and to have in the back of your mind when you're trying to grow your business. It's very important that you stay on top of this particular process. You don't just throw the invoice out. You don't just send out the proposal and just say, I hope that this person decides to pay, right? A lot of people, they do that. You don't just throw it out and just say, yo, I hope this person pays when they're ready. No, it's important that you're able to follow up whatever the person has said, and this is usually for high ticket. If what you're charging is £100, £50, then you don't need to chase up for £100, £50. But when your services are costing £5,000, £10,000, £12,000 per contract, some people's contracts are 100K. If you're looking at 100K per contract for a whole year, 500,000 for a whole year, your conversion process needs to be in place. You don't just put proposals out there and leave it. The higher, and we call it cost of acquisition, the higher it is, the contract is, the higher the cost of acquisition can be. We also call it lead time. The lead time can be longer if the amount of the person's paying is higher, right? If someone's giving you a contract for 500,000 for a year, yeah, it doesn't matter if it takes them 3 or 4 months to, to complete that contract because that's worth 500,000. So the cost of that can be 10,000. £10,000 to secure 500,000 isn't a ridiculous amount of money. Also depends on the cost of delivering that 500,000 contract. It's another conversation for another day, right? So we're looking at, okay, this project is a £10,000 project, upfront pay, right? £10,000 project, upfront pay. I want the person to pay. A lot of people think you're losing the company, you're losing your clients because of your pricing. Yeah, you think it's because it's too impressive. Someone says they're interested, someone asks for details, someone wants the next steps, but you just leave them. You don't really follow it up properly. Then we end up responding to them with a delayed quote. Sometimes we send unclear invoices. Oh my, oh my, oh my. That's a big one. Some of us, we send invoices out that are just not very clear. We don't have proper proposals. We're dealing with some stuff with some clients at the moment who they're losing out on money because their proposal wasn't clear enough. They said they were going to give a client A. They didn't realize that when they said A, the client thought that A included B, C, D, E, F, and G. Now they've taken money and they're almost compelled to do B, C, D, E, F, and G. So although they've converted, quote unquote, the contract wasn't completed by the time the person paid, and now there's confusion. So all of these things are very, very important. Sometimes if the proposal is not clear, you lose that client. You did everything right up until that point. Because having a very clear proposal also builds trust. You have to understand that these people are not sure if they should work with you. They're kind of like, if they don't know you, they feel like they should. But there is I don't know, because people judge your professionalism and how effective you're going to be in the job based on how good you are in your process with it. That's why it's so important. And this is often where the conversation starts to break. And we're going to talk about that today. That's what we're kind of looking at. What happens and why are people not collecting the money that they're due, right? It gets even worse if you have done the service first and you're following up money afterwards. Having good invoices, having good payment structures cuts all of that out. Okay. You want someone to pay, they're meant to pay on a Friday, and it's Friday when you're asking them about the money. Some people have to prepare for that money throughout the whole month. You need to send the reminders and send things in the interim. You know, money's due on the 30th. You send them an invoice 5 days before. You send them an email 10 days before, letting them know their service is about to be completed or whatever the case may be, or their money is due. You keep on. Number one, you can't be afraid to ask for money. Now, another thing I want to highlight when you're talking to somebody and trying to get them to sort of sign contracts and begin to work with you is interest is not a conversion. There isn't, your sale isn't complete till there's money in the bank. Or at the very least, if money comes at the end of the project, your sale is not complete until they at least sign the contract. For me, I'll take it back. No, your sale is not complete until there's money in the bank. I don't care if they've signed the contract and you've done the work. Until they've paid, that contract is a good deal. Because we've all experienced it. For those of us who've been running our business for long enough, people would get the service from you and run off. You can't say that you know. And I know for accounting purposes, you'd still say, this is a service you provided. This is money owed. And yeah, I don't like all of that. See, a client can show interest, and it's not the same as a client taking action. A lot can go wrong between the whole, I'm interested, send me details, I'd like to go ahead, payment isn't actually being made. Like a lot of things can go wrong. Right? The gap between interest and payment is where businesses lose momentum. And that's what we're trying to talk about today to kind of encourage you to ensure that you keep your momentum, although businesses doing what it's doing. Like, when the client is coming in, you have to keep that momentum. Someone's shown an interest, you're an influencer, you're getting brand deals, the brand has shown an interest, the brand has said, yeah, I want to work with you. You sent your proposal. Don't just sit back. A lot of us feel as though, like, most of us are not making enough money in our businesses to sit back and say, yeah, when you're ready, I'll chase you up. You actually have to actively reach out, actively have processes in place to remind people of what is due and what's owed. And that's the best way to kind of ensure you're able to ask for money in the business. Right? Here's where you usually lose the clients. Sometimes your offer isn't clear. The client can say yes to you in a meeting, and if the proposal doesn't lay out because it's not in the meeting they usually scrutinize what you said, it's in the proposal. It's when they're looking at what you're going to get, what they're going to get. If the proposal is too vague, you're going to lose out on that payment. They're not going to pay, right? If the invoice comes in late, if they were planning to pay on a Tuesday, or they were planning to pay on a Monday, or they were planning to pay, because I've had clients like that. They'll tell you, here's when I can pay. If you send the invoice late, you just lost out on money. Yeah. If payment options are limited, that's another option. Oh, only bank transfer. One of the best things that we do is we have a subscription, have a bank transfer, we'll take it up with the phone. You can pay in so many ways with us. We're not going to allow technology to be a barrier. Don't be lazy. Oh, I've had people we've worked with where their payment options are so limited. It's almost like the client doesn't have many options. That makes sense. It's so limited, the client doesn't have many options at all. Um, so that's an important factor as well. Often there's no recurrent structure. Sometimes if you are collecting two payments, pay now, then pay the rest later, don't just like don't leave it to chance. Right? If the person has to pay now, then pay later. Don't just say, here's the invoice. We can't be so desperate for money sometimes. I'll give you a story as well. we've had clients like this. We've got a system where you pay through Stripe. Stripe takes a chunk. Yes, stop being cheap. Stripe takes a chunk, but the chunk isn't really a chunk. It's a small percentage. But what it does with our system, it allows us to build a person automatically, like somewhere down the line, right? That's very important to us to be able to build a client further down the line, so we don't have to chase you. We've done it before where because we're trying to move things forward, we just wanted the money to come in. We got the person to pay us directly into the account. I promise you guys, you would do work for that person every month, and we have to let them go. Every month we'll be chasing them because they have to pay the invoice. And I don't do chasing in that way. I don't do chasing in that way. Eventually, if I keep chasing a client, you stop working with people who have to chase too much. It's another thing. It's hard to ask for money, so to be aware of when you should get money broke. Businesses often focus heavily on getting attention, but not enough on what happens next. You're spending all that time and effort on your ads and getting leads in. I just explained to you, we've got like in excess of 20K sitting in proposals that are, for lack of a better word, dry. We've kind of let the leads go a bit quiet. If people who are still interested, if people who can call, I'll probably say, yeah, let's go, let's go. If people that some of our team are calling, but there has to be a bit more of a strategy to ensure that when we speak to these people, when we engage with the people, they're going to show, they're going to show up, they're going to pay, right? So the key thing here is systems convert, clarity converts. People are ready to move to the next step and pay when they know exactly what they're paying for. They're confident in that offer. There's a simple way to do it. So one of our processes is when somebody talks to us or someone shows an interest and someone says, yes, we want to move forward. Within 24 hours, we send them a proposal of what we discussed, along with terms and conditions. And once they sign it, an invoice is sent to them automatically for them to pay. So we have a meeting, we sign the contract, then, we've got to look at on our side. I'm going to call Precious in a moment if I get the opportunity to. But we need to look at our side, what we can do to improve that process. The problem we have sometimes, and I think I'm going to talk to Precious about this, is we call somebody in, they ask for a proposal, but sometimes they're not ready to pay, although they want a proposal. So I'm actually going to call Precious in now, because it's something that I want to discuss with him about what we can do to improve that particular process. Because that particular process is an important part that we have to discuss, and that's part of what we're looking at today. We're going to go through this in more detail in our webinar at 11 with our clients. But with what we're going to do with you guys now is you're working with us. So I'll give you guys like a backstory of what we're thinking about.
Okay, so tell me
And then
can I give you a phone?
from there, we're going to one moment. From there, we're going to work out what is best for us as an organization. Because even as I think about it, I can't even remember what I used to do. And I can tell you now, I didn't used to have this problem elsewhere. We'd have a quicker conversion. And then there's some things you can do when people do go quiet. When people do go a bit quiet on these, there's some things you can utilize. There's some skills you can utilize. One of them is what I call giving hope. You reconnect with the hope. You don't reconnect. So one of the mistakes that people make is when somebody hasn't paid an invoice and you wait for them to respond to the invoice, what people would do is they'll be like, oh, hi, just to remind you about this invoice. Don't do that. Don't send invoice reminders to people before they start. Send hope reminders. Hey, we're ready to get started. We just need X, Y, and Z from you to get started. By the way, the invoice was also sent to you last week. You remind them of what they're about to start. And then in the process of reminding them of what they're about to start, then you can highlight to them what they need to do next. Someone's asking for a full brand revamp. Hey, we needed the, I would say, hey, we need the deposit paper, wait for the deposit. Hey, our team has started researching similar brands to yours. and we wanted to ask for your opinion on which ones were closest to what you're looking for. Let us know when you're available to talk about that. And just a gentle reminder, the invoice for the deposit has been sent to you next slide there. The message makes them excited about, oh, hey, I need to get my rebranding. It gets them excited about that. And then it also makes them think, oh, snap, I haven't paid the invoice. If you just say, hey, pay the invoice. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, like a personal friend, and I said to him, people spend too much time in business and in life wanting to use the stick rather than the carrot. If I want someone to do something, I'm always going to use the carrot. I'm always going to offer them something that would be appealing to them to respond to, rather than, hey, some people would say, hey, if you don't pay, we're not going to work with you. That could work for some people, but I find it's easier when you're like, hey, remember what you said you wanted from us? It's right in front of you if you take it. So, as I said, I just called him Precious to discuss a few things with Precious. Precious, I'm talking about, oh, wait, first, say hello to the lovely people, just for those who might be watching.
Hi, everyone.
Wonderful. So Precious is, he's working with us on human resources and sales at the moment. We're going to get somebody to take over the whole sales part. But in between, we had somebody, a fantastic guy, we're working with in sales before. Shout out to Junior. Junior was a star, but due to whole living conditions changing, he had to move to a different place. He just had to let go, which is very sad. But Precious has been filling in and holding down the fort very well over the past couple of months. So Precious, one of the things we're discussing today is specifically for Ken Blue. You would know, I've looked at it, we've got like almost 20 plus 20 plus worth of contracts and proposals that have been out over the last couple of months that we haven't, oh no, last couple of weeks, in fact, that we haven't been able to close. And we want to discuss what can we do to close the gap more between somebody sending that proposal and us getting it paid, right? And one of the things we found, and you know the usual, I'm not gonna say any names. We've got some people, for example, you know who I mean when I say the twins?
Yes.
Who the proposal has gone out to them, and because they were still trying to work out what they were doing, getting back in touch after that proposal has now gone a bit cold.
Yeah.
Versus the lady who came to us the other day and said, hey, I need you guys. Proposal was sent yesterday, meeting is today. She's probably going to pay today.
Yeah.
So that conversion is a lot faster. Then you've got the lady who she wants to do the ad, and we're waiting to see what she wants to do. So I guess with people who they ask for a proposal, but they're in a position whereby they're still thinking about what they want it, but they're still like, let me think about it. So we need to think of a way to handle those people better so we don't lose them. Yeah. Let me even quickly check. If I look at my thing again, there's that person. There's the therapist. We need to get back in touch with her. There's the gentleman who
Who came with so much excitement, and then
the
I thought
gentleman
it was all set. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said he spoke to his partner and they said end of the month. And that was 16 days ago.
Yeah.
So that's money we're losing. That all of those are 3 projects, worth a good amount that we're losing. 2 of them are going to become recurring. No, all 3 of them will become recurring. So all 3 of them are recurring revenue. If I look at the year's worth of those contracts, it's a very good amount of money in terms of the year's worth of those recurring revenue.
Yeah, true.
So I guess we need to separate them in our minds, Precious. There's 2 types of people then. There are the people who are hot. They want the proposal because they want to sign and pay. Then there's people who they want the proposal because they want to consider. Now, it's going to have to work 2 ways. We should probably have proposals only when somebody is ready to sign and pay. So if they're not ready to sign and pay within 3 days of that proposal, so please make a note of this, Precious, we need to have some sort of process that's slightly different. So we need to process that. Some people, they ask us for a proposal and they're still thinking about it. Those guys are still in nurturing. We haven't sold to them yet. The problem is sometimes it feels like in a meeting that we have, we're talking to them, they seem really keen. They said, yeah. And this is the thing, guys, I'm trying to explain to everybody. Sometimes you meet with people and their attitude is, oh, this sounds great. Yeah, send me something. Like me and Preston were just talking about a gentleman. He was almost like, yeah. Then when I called him and said, would you want it? He said, no, 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 I want that. That's what I want. He emphasized what he wanted. Yeah, probably like 3 weeks down the line, no money's come through from his side. Um, so Precious, what we might have to do, and I need to know what we're going to call this meeting. So we have a proposal, then we should have a meeting after the proposal to, and we'll call it like a final clarity call. That meeting would be to basically close them.
Okay.
So that we are completely sure. Now, you can handle that meeting because the focus of the meeting isn't selling anymore. The focus is there anything unclear?
Clarity.
Is there anything, are you happy with the proposal? Are you unhappy with the proposal? Here's your opportunity to negotiate. Because I'd rather the person not show up and then we'll say, and if the person doesn't show up, we'll tell them, okay, we say explicitly, I guess you're not working with us at this moment. Thank you for considering us. Now, that doesn't mean we won't work with them again, but if we're going to work with them, we'd re-engage from the beginning. Does that make sense? Because I don't like the fact that we just got proposals up in the air and we're not knowing. So with everybody who we've got proposal out now, let's have a clarity call with them. Have a clarity call with them. Hey, just to revisit the proposal, just to revisit what's going on. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? This way, what we need to be able to identify those who require a clarity call, Precious, and those who just want the contract. So there's two reasons why people want the proposal. Some people want the proposal because they want to be able to digest what they're getting. Some people want the proposal because they already know what they want. They just want clarity so they can pay. So some people want the proposal so they can pay. Some people want the proposal so they can think. I don't know. Is it worth giving people a one-page overview of what the contract?
Before sending the proposal?
Yeah, but that's just more work for you. I don't know if it's.
I think from past experience, I think most people that we send proposals are really ready. Just like the recent one that we just sent to.
Yeah.
Most times they are the ones that even follow up and then make sure that
exactly
they get it.
They're the ones who chase.
Yes. So I think what we want to actually do is to see how we can be able to follow up those that came with so much excitement. They've seen the proposal, but somehow their response is now slow. So I think what you're suggesting now is still okay. We could book another clarity call with them after sending the proposal. And then, first of all, they are supposed to sign. And their signing means that they have approved of it. So when they have not signed, most times is when, we get to follow up with them and then invite them over again and explain everything to them and give them the opportunity to negotiate. So I think that will work.
So I think, so you made a good point. Somebody's seen the proposal, they haven't signed the proposal. So the first question is there anything they have seen or anything in the proposal that they're unhappy with? Is there anything in the proposal they want us to change? That's like some of the questions we've got to ask. And I guess that's what the clarity call could be about. So the clarity call doesn't even have to be booked in. It could be a call and saying, hey, I just want 5 minutes of your time. Just wanted to know, looking at proposal again, we see you haven't signed it. Is there anything about the proposal that you're unhappy about? But Precious, what you have to do is you have to lead with, we are ready to go. We have something for you, but we can't move forward because you haven't signed the proposal. So with that gentleman, if I open his proposal and I look at what we said, because I'm going to give him a call today, his phone has been off. But his timing is a bit funny because of his job. So if I go to his file, obviously I'm not going to share my screen. It's for those on YouTube, on TikTok. I can't share this. This is people's business. So let me just open it. If I copy link, so if I go to his file myself, and what we promised him, yeah, we need to get this contract done, man. So registration, full setup, print, social media setup, guidance for fantasy sport, two sessions. Can you remind Faith to make sure she's adding VAT to the invoices? Because it says it in the contract. The invoices are going to do VAT, but I don't think I've seen that recently. I'll double check. So this guy, we would tell him that we have some options for registered address and his tax stuff ready to go. So the first thing that we're going to do for him, we'll let him know that we're already thinking about it and we're preparing to do them for him. And then from there, he can say, okay. And I guess, could it be, is the instruction clear enough? Precious, maybe people don't realize they need to sign the proposal.
I think at the bottom of the proposal there is written that sign, and most of them are aware. Or the ones that have paid initially, previously rather, the ones that have paid previously, they usually sign. So when the view is the sign and then
Yeah, no,
except it
I
wants
know.
to be stated there.
Yeah, no, I think it should, but it's not even just that. You need to remind me, I need to take that in the meetings too. So
Okay.
when I say I'm going to send a proposal, some people don't realize the proposal is for them to sign. They think it's for them to read. So maybe these guys have read the proposal and they're like waiting for us to do something. Because as much as it says it there, unfortunately, people don't read things. So it saying it doesn't really, sometimes you have to be explicit. So it might be a matter of, hey, you know, the calls. So like the lady from yesterday, she didn't sign it though. So you spoke to her, but she hasn't signed it. Maybe she doesn't realize she has to sign it.
No. She said she wants to talk with us, and then she would, the moment she signs now, then she's ready to make payments.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, the
okay,
moment she signs, we send the invoice. So I'm sure that's
okay,
why, because that's the process. And we
okay.
usually tell them in the meeting most times that when they sign, automatically we send an
Yeah,
invoice to them.
I think I need to make it even more explicit. I think it needs to be even but that's for me to do because I'm usually the
Okay.
one in the meeting with them. So that's for me to do. So the next steps is we're going to send you an invoice. You're going to sign the invoice. Sorry, we're going to send you a proposal.
What's up?
You can ponder on it and then you sign the proposal when you're ready. But I need to give a deadline. So this is part of how we ask for money. We don't just let it, because a lot of the time I'm like, I'm going to send you a proposal. I kind of leave it at that. We're going to send you a proposal because I expect them to see the proposal and sign it. But I need to make it a lot more explicit. So Precious, another thing, when we send proposals, we're going to book an onboarding meeting in that meeting. That's another thing. So another tip, everybody, I used to do this a lot, but I haven't done it as much. We need to start giving onboarding meetings, proposals. Hey, here's a proposal. We're going to book the meeting, book it within 5 days of the proposal going out. So what you're telling them is you have 5 days to sign and to pay. Now, at this stage, if somebody's not ready, they're gonna push back and say, actually, give me to the end of the month. Okay. If you want to the end of the month, then I know what category to put you in. If you want to the end of the month, let's still book a call so that process, that call will change. It will be a clarity call. Either way, we're going to have another call. So if someone says, oh, at the end of the month, I'm going to ask them, is that a payment reason or is that because you need longer to read the proposal? or I need longer to read the proposal. Are you aware that I'll tell them, are you aware that the proposal is just what we've gone through today? Because you're saying read the proposal. I'm just giving you the deliverables of what we discussed today. Then if they say, I say, look, the clarity call is going to give us an opportunity to go through the proposal. So yeah, Precious, I'm going to do a clarity call now. If somebody's going to delay, I'm going to do a clarity call because unfortunately people don't sit down and read the proposals. Now, just to be clear to everybody who's watching, we do these kind of calls when the services are higher ticket. So someone's paying £10, £50, £100, £500 for something. We're not doing extra calls. Now, if they're paying £600 a month for 12 months, for 24 months, if it's, if it's a long-term contract that accumulates to thousands, 20,000, 100,000, 500,000, that's different. You give that leeway because you're trying to close something that's it's longevity. Right? If it's £600 one-off, I'm not doing a clarity call. It's up to you if you want to buy it or not. If it's £6,000 over 3 or 4 months, I'm willing to do a clarity call. If it's £20,000 plus over a year, I'll happily do that clarity call. So it all depends on how much is going to be made. Some people, what you're doing is £20 a pop. So you only do a clarity call if it's 100K a year. It all depends on what you're looking at within your business. But what we're thinking about is people are getting proposals, they're reading them, they're not paying. What can we do to adapt that? One of the worst things you can do, we've been doing it, so we need to nip it in the bud, Precious, we need to nip it in the bud, is not giving deadlines. So from now on, when I do proposals, Precious always remind me, message me, nudge me, say, just comment from me and say, Mr. Shire, what about the deadline? Thank you, Precious. And I'll say, yes, the deadline for this is. So I would, Precious, it should be 3 days. Guys, don't give anybody longer than 3 days to read the proposal. If you can't read the proposal in 3 days, you might not be the best fit for us to work with. Because once you sign and you pay, I don't want to be chasing you. You need to be available for meetings and whatever we're going to be doing. If you say I can't read a proposal in 3 days, I would say to you, maybe this is not the time for you to be having this service because this service requires your time and your energy. If you don't have the time and energy to give to it, we're going to be dragging you the whole time. And I do not want that. I don't want any kind of business relationship where we've done it before. Yes, people are paying, but the money isn't worth it. I tell clients all the time, sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Right? So, Precious, what are we concluding then? We're concluding that, number one, we're going to identify if this is a proposal for consideration or proposal for execution. I'm about to start. If it's a proposal for consideration, then we let them know we need to have a clarity call within a week.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's a proposal for clarity call within a week, just to kind of go through what we've looked at and finalize. What's this lady talking about? Someone just sent me a crazy code. Joking. All right. Then, Precious, if it's an execution workflow, it's similar time frame, but we're going to touch base within 3 days. So there we go. That becomes it. And then Precious, we need to make it very clear on our side. If we put a proposal out and somebody doesn't respond or come to that meeting, we need to reach out to them and send them an email and a text to say, I guess you're not moving forward. We'll be in touch. we need to let them know that we're not just gonna wait forever, because that's not how we work.
Mhm.
Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, so that's what that would look like. So I think if we can start doing that. So what do you think we should do now with the people that we currently have?
I think since we just started this, I think we should just do clarity call for them. The ones that
What what do we want to do about people? And this is a genuine thing we have to think about. What do we want to do about people who let us know they don't have the budget right now? Because that's not there's no way to close. You can't close somebody who doesn't have the money.
so I think most of them that even that most of them that have not responded yet. It's just that most they have not really opened up to tell you that they cannot afford the budget.
But we should. So what I will start doing, this is what we need to start doing, Precious. When I give you, when we're in a meeting, so it's very important, you're going to need to start calculating what things are going to look like. Then I need to give the person, based on what you said, this is the budget you're going to be looking at. If they let us know they can't do that, we will not send proposals.
Okay.
There's no point of you making a proposal for something for someone that they can't afford it. So we know the meeting we had the other day with the lady who wanted to do the ads. We told her what the ad spend should be. She said she can't afford the ad spend. I didn't even bother. I'm not going to ask you to write a proposal. She can't afford the ad spend. She's not ready to afford the service. So it's not. I don't want you to be doing all the work of putting together a proposal for somebody who already said they can't afford what we're doing.
Okay, so right then the
Um,
meeting we could just pick out the things that they need and then give
yeah,
them the
yeah,
pricing,
yeah,
so they have
yeah,
an idea of it.
yeah.
So, okay.
But we would slightly overestimate just in case in the conversation they tell us things that are going to cost them more. I don't want to be like, oh, that's going to cost you 5,000. Then say, oh, that's going to cost you 8,000. Then say, oh, that's going to cost you 12. That's just like we're jumping every single conversation. Cut. So at the end of what they say they need, I'm going to say that's going to cost you maximum this amount, but it could be as little as so and so and so. Is that within your budget? If they say no, then the response would be, okay, I'm not sure how we can work with you if you don't have the budget for X, Y, and Z. Um,
That would work.
then it's like the alternative is you can try and do it yourself. But yeah, that's what we're going to have to look at. So yeah, so that works. So that means at least the proposals wouldn't be about, oh, because I don't like this whole idea that we're doing a proposal for somebody and they tell us, send me the proposal, and now we got to wait for you to save up the money.
Mm,
Does that make sense? Because
yeah.
you guys are doing the work of putting a proposal together. They're all bespoke. You put them specifically based on what the client's required. That's work and time and effort. And I don't want you to do it if somebody's already told us they can't afford the roundabout budget they're talking about. Now, this stuff is quite basic. A lot of people they don't move forward unless you, even in the beginning, some people will ask, "Do you have the budget for this in the first place?" And someone says no, they'll be like, "Okay, end of the conversation." I wouldn't do that. I think that's a bit harsh. Um, um, but I do feel before we send a proposal, we should identify if what we're saying is affordable for the person.
Yeah.
Um, then I would still ask, what is affordable? And if they say, oh, this is the amount I have, then I'll let them know if I can think of a way to help you with that amount, I'll let you know. So then we could potentially look at a way we can help them with that amount, but at least that is the end of that interaction because we know that what they need and what they want, we can't necessarily facilitate right now. So to all of those who have joined us, thank you for your time. For those who are watching it in the later days, thank you for watching. We're all just trying to kind of build our business. In this particular session, I spent the first half talking about some of the mindsets around what is causing us to not collect our money on time and have our money. And then for the second half, I kind of went through where we want to improve on these areas within Code Blue ourselves. We hope that our discussion and some of our thoughts have sparked ideas in your own head on what you can do and what you can put together. 7 minutes. Um, Thank you for those on TikTok. for those who joined. I saw many people join. So thank you guys who came on and who watched. And for those on YouTube, again, thank you. Precious, I usually let whoever's here sign us out on YouTube. So if you'd like to, please sign us out on YouTube by TikTok.
All right, so come in the list.
Precious, go on.
Okay,
Sign us out on
okay.
YouTube.
Thank you guys for coming around. I believe that you guys have learned a lot today, and we're expecting that most of you will join us and experience most of the things that we're talking about here. For real. We wish you all the best for the week and expect that you join us next week, Thursday, on our next live session. Thank you.